We now have Mukhtar Dan, of course, to talk to us live now on Skype about that incident. Thank you very much indeed, Dan, for joining us this time.
The pleasure is all mine. Thank you for having me.
Right, well, a timeline of Boko Haram attacks since the turn of 2017 indicates that about 200 people have been killed so far. Does this not tell a different story from the position that, the group has been decimated?
The group hasn't been decimated, unfortunately. I've said this in various fora over time. They've just changed their strategy. I mean, they're still engaged in asymmetrical warfare, but they're not focused on holding territory. They're focused on terrorizing civilian populations, and they're focused on exercising soft power, which is letting people know that they are there, even without necessarily being there at all times in the physical sense.
All right. Now, as we know, about 3 soldiers were killed on that occasion. Yes. Do you not think that 24-hour surveillance should be a regular practice where you have an army formation?
Do I think surveillance should be a regular practice? Yes. Unfortunately, we've been very, very, very slack in this regard. For example, there were indications that these people, the insurgents, were mobilizing at a certain part, in a certain part of the town. And signals went out with, I think, sufficient forewarning for the Nigerian authorities to have been able to mobilize. Unfortunately, like has been the case over the last few years, literally since the insurgency began, the signals were ignored. And as a result, the insurgents were able to successfully conduct a raid, which also cost us both civilian and military lives.
Well, with the rise in attacks within the region, it is appearing like some of the gains recorded earlier are getting eroded. What do you think, in your opinion, should be done in order to sustain or not to erode the earlier gains that were recorded?
Well, since the turn of events at the beginning of 2015, when we basically took back a lot of the territory they held, we haven't suffered a loss of those gains. Let's be clear on that. What we have right now is a systematic failure when it comes to proper intelligence gathering from a military perspective, military intelligence, which is when these people, because what happened is the insurgents have left their positions in the towns and villages surrounding Maiduguri and other major towns in Borno State, and have gone into the desert, have gone into the wilderness from where they mount attacks. What we need to do is have an early warning system which is effective, so that when these people start heading towards places where there are civilian populations, we know. For example, in Magumeri, there is a garrison. It's shocking that the insurgents were able to come and raid the town, a town which has a garrison. That should never have happened. There should have been more than enough early warning systems. There should have been more than enough signs as to what's happening, especially since there was intelligence, credible intelligence, that these elements were forming in part of that area, ready for some sort of attack. So we need to have a better early warning system.
All right, security expert Mukhtar Dan Iyan, thank you very much indeed for your time.